I was stood at the start of a wooden jetty leading out into a vast lake. I was in Guatemala and the sun was beaming down on me. The water was turquoise and clear, and it looked like heaven. I was a lifeguard at the time and a keen swimmer, and I just knew that I had to make the first dive. I confidently walked to the end of the jetty and I took my diving pose. And in that moment, I froze. Thoughts flooded into my head. What if there's some kind of creature in there that attacks me as I jump in? What if the lake is so deep that I get caught in some kind of plant and I can't get back out? What if it's so shallow that I hit my head on the bottom of the lake and I drown? I was paralysed by fear. And I watched as, one by one, my friends moved past me and jumped into the lake. Not only did I feel fear, but I felt disappointment in myself, embarrassment, and shame. The Oxford Dictionary defines fear as an unpleasant emotion fueled by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. It tends to strike one of two reactions. Either we stay and fight the fear, or we run from it. Fear was useful to our cavemen ancestors who would encounter wild animals higher up the food chain than them. But how often are you encountered by a wild animal today? Fear isn't a rational emotion. It doesn't distinguish between situations. It doesn't care whether you're about to give a speech to 10,000 people or whether you just need to have a difficult conversation with your mum. And like our cavemen ancestors who would run from danger to protect themselves, it's easy to find ourselves trying to avoid situations that might prolong the fear and instead retreating to our comfort zones. But living inside your comfort zone is a danger in itself. You miss out on the opportunities that life throws at you. And constantly trying to avoid situations that might cause you fear can actually cause you to feel fear more often at the more insignificant things that happen in your everyday life. Effectively, your comfort zone becomes smaller. My hero, Susan Jeffers, wrote a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And in it, one of her key messages is that the only way to get rid of the fear of doing something is to go out and do it. And if we repeatedly step outside of our comfort zones, we find that our comfort zones expand. When you look back, you notice that the number of things that you're scared of doing has decreased in number. And when you look forward, the world out there isn't quite so scary anymore. You develop confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, and you develop a belief in yourself. Effectively, fear becomes a signal to proceed. It's an opportunity for you to develop yourself, and you know that if you do the thing that you're scared of doing, you're not going to be so scared of it anymore. After what seemed like an eternity, I eventually dived into the lake. I hit the cool water and I was submerged beneath the surface, and it was invigorating. I climbed back onto the jetty and I dived in again, and I did it again and again and again. And each time I hit that water and I was just submerged in the coolness and that refreshing sensation, the fear just transformed into excitement and exhilaration. The lake became more familiar, and I began to look forward to my next dive. To any of you sitting here tonight who have got something coming up that you're scared of doing, or there's something that you know that you would love to have a go at, but you feel that the fear is holding you back, I would really encourage you to alter the way that you think about that fear. Realise that it is there just because you're confronted with something new or something that is less familiar to you. It is not a reflection on your ability to do it. Let that fear motivate you to take action that you know is going to develop yourself. And be excited by the fact that you know that things will be better on the other side of that fear. Thank you.